Hello, I'm Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and this is the Publisher versus Player show. Now, tonight, we've got a special guest with us. It is Fear from Battle Vortex.
Hey, me!
Yeah, you. Fear and I go way, way back. Fear.
Got the kitty.
Where did we meet?
We met, I think it was because of the audio shows I was doing back in the late 90s, and you had a website similar to mine. I guess they are kind of still sort of similar. And I did an interview with you. I remember that. You were pretty big in your area, which was marketing or trade stuff, and I was into the PvP, so we both had little pieces of the pie. It all had to do with Ultima Online. And I think that's how we were on different servers. I was on Napa, and I think you were on Baja.
I'm sure that you would have PK'd me if we were on the same server.
No, I was the nice of the group.
You would have taken all of my wares.
If you had some stuff I wanted me. But my boys were the bad boys. I was just kind of like the messenger and, tried to help them out and stuff.
Yeah. So, we go way back. I mean, we probably met in 98 or 99.
Yep.
Somewhere back then. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, now, you were big into PvP, right?
Yeah, I still am.
Yeah. So, that fits right in with our subject tonight, which is Lord British has announced Ultimate RPG. And
Right.
Ultimate RPG is it's his next RPG game, except it's going to be massive multiplayer. He should make it. Shouldn't it be Ultimate MMORPG?
There's probably some kind of copyright violation or something.
Yes. So basically, there's been a few things that I want to go over here real quick, which is that Richard has announced this, and he said that there are 4 things that are so far on the top of his list. And he calls them the Lord British Canonized Truth. And they are the following. The Ultimate RPG will play on mobile as well as PCs.
Okay.
So I know I'm not so excited about that. I'm hardcore PC. But it's going to be mobile and PC. Okay. Ultimate RPG will have player-owned real estate. These are his exact words. I know. Thumbs up from me too. So, and it's in quotes here. It says as openly placeable as possible. Which I got to get Dernick on for an interview someday.
Can we put the tents in the trees again?
Yes, I know. He was a master of placing stuff everywhere. So, okay, so Ultimate RPG will have interactive decorations. Most everything that looks operable should operate.
That's the way he always wanted Ultima Online.
I think that's awesome.
Yes, that's awesome.
Now, the
chairs should be able to be sat in.
Yes, absolutely,
Yes, every
absolutely.
chair should be able to be sat.
And girls should be able to dance on the tables.
Yeah. Without any assistance from me.
So, and then let's see here. I'm gonna get myself in trouble, huh?
You have a girlfriend.
I do, but she's a gamer. She knows what I'm talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
she still might kick your ass.
Well, maybe. Okay, and Ultimate RPG will contain virtues and ethical parables.
I really like those.
That's what made it so famous.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about PvP. So, PvP here is basically he wrote some comments about PvP, and he wants player feedback. So both you and I can discuss, and we can watch what's being said in the chat here to get as much feedback as possible. And then those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment with the video, and we'll make sure that Lord British and his crew sees it. So, Okay, so PvP. I would like to support as open a PvP as possible without creating the conditions that run off new players. Did you did you see the interview that he just did with Stratix?
Stratix? No, I didn't.
I know,
The last one
I know.
saw was TGN.
Who knew? Who knew? Oh,
I didn't
TG.
even know Stratix is still around.
Okay. Did you know that I think that Stratix is TGN?
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes,
I
yeah.
did see the one with George.
Yes. So, did you see the story that was there about the woman who kept getting her stuff stolen?
Right, and then they were,
Yeah, and then he goes and tries to ban him, and he's like, "Dude, I'm just being a thief."
yeah, just like you're being
Yeah.
what you are, I'm trying to be me. And
Yeah, yeah.
he was still a griefer though.
He was.
just trying to grief
But
that
that was pretty awesome. And so that's the kind of conditions that he doesn't want new players to experience. But, golly, that makes such an awesome story.
Yeah, that interview was interesting, and I liked it. Except I don't think George was as hardcore of a UO player as like you or I was.
Oh yeah,
So
I know.
I was kind of disappointed because he didn't ask enough questions that I would have been like, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so he doesn't want to run off new players or destroy so much of someone's earnings to run them off.
Right.
He says he also fears an opt-in system or PvP areas as not fulfilling the feel that is needed. Do you remember pre-Trammel? All of the
yeah.
risk.
I quit playing after they made Trammel.
Yeah, so all of the risk was so awesome. So
Yeah.
awesome.
It used to scare the hell out of me, actually.
Yeah.
You never knew what was going to happen.
I know, you get ganked right at the bank.
Well, and as a PK, I couldn't even go to that bank, but I could get attacked by anyone, and you never knew. Even your old red buddies would just screw you over.
Yeah. Honor among thieves.
Yeah. It wasn't-
No honor
we all
among
hated
thieves.
each other.
Yeah. Okay, so now, so he asks about how do you feel about zone-based safety in a town controlled by your side? Are you safe from PvP? But that as you leave the safety of such a town, the threat levels go up. So, and he wants to know what games do a good job of PvE and PvP, and describe for us not just what you would like, but what you think would work well for all player types. And that's his entire question.
Yeah. Ultima Online, I did not mind as PK not being able. We were able to get to a bank, but it was on an island, like out in the middle of nowhere, which you had to get to the first time there, you would have to take a boat or have someone gate you, portal, whatever you guys call them nowadays, to the bank, and then you could make a recall rune there and go back and forth. I didn't mind that. I mean, I was just used to it. I still found, even when I started playing World of Warcraft, going into town for me was like, I didn't like being there. I'm not used to that, hanging out with all these people around the bank. I'm like, what is going on here? We should be shooting each other. But
So now, myself, actually we might be two sides of this. Because myself, I liked the risk, but I didn't like killing anybody. I wasn't about that at all. And but I did enjoy the risk.
Yeah.
And now you were red.
yes.
So you were out there killing people like me, and
Yeah.
taking my shit.
Yeah, I would. I liked watching all the clothes fly off after you kill them. Like 4 or 5 guys, and you'd see the pants and the shirt and the shoes, and I would just be like, "Oh my god!" I can't. The first time I saw it, I was a little shocked, but after that, I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and then you can hack up the body, and you can put the arms and legs in your backpack.
Oh, that was nasty.
In the head?
Couldn't you make like jerky, or was that something else? I can't remember, but it was weird.
Yeah.
You could keep the heads, and we'd put the heads on arrows and stick them in our vendors so you could see all the people we killed.
Oh yeah. So, so what about PvP? Do you think is good for you that would allow you to participate in this, but won't, and allow you to gank people, but at the same time will not drive them off if they were not so much a willing participant in PvP?
Well, I think that what would have helped a little bit more in Ultima Online is a clearer understanding to the player that when you leave this area, you are no longer under protection of the guards or anyone else for that matter, unless you bring a friend. So I think that was the biggest problem, is that people would be, because PKs didn't just like always hang out. I mean, we'd have like Friday night, we'd hang out at the crossroads or something and get into it. Or, sometimes we'd go to the dungeon and, kill it. We'd stay hidden until they were all, loaded up on loot from all the dragons, and we'd kill them. We had our little ways. But I think it has to be a more clear understanding. And I don't know how you train them for that. I mean, other than like sites like mine, where I actually tried to teach people how to avoid being killed by me. There wasn't a lot of PKs doing that, though. A lot of PKs really didn't like that I would tell them things. And I would teach them how to not get robbed by thieves, things like that, just to try and, because you want those people, you need those sheep to come into the world.
You need the cannon fodder.
Right, and you have to educate them enough that they'll understand and they'll try it. They'll get out there and maybe it's, I don't know, maybe there's some way to educate them and protect them in certain ways. Maybe for a time they can have certain things where they can get away. And that's mostly it. I think if they can get away, but without it being exploitable by the PKs to do it to them, that was always the problem. You give something to work one way, and then somebody will reverse it and turn it into a gray area.
Someone will always push the limits.
Right.
And I know that just from Ultima Online, that in many cases there were never any limits. Well, in many cases they didn't envision that this stuff would happen.
No, I had no idea when I first came in. I was like, oh, we have a game like this? Oh my God.
I know. 40 hours of your week are now missing.
Well, and I never got to go into town from day one, so I never even knew what.
Oh, really?
No, not for.
Wow.
I wasn't into. I only had one character for the longest time, and then later down the road, I built another one. But they ran me directly out of town, right when I got in the game, wherever I spawned, right down to where their house was on this little peninsula at the very bottom of the map, and stuck me in a house and told me to beat on the dummy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, I got 100 in fighting, and I was like, okay, whatever, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you ever play Dark Age of Camelot?
Yeah, a little bit. I wasn't really fond of it, but I did play a little bit.
So we have a couple of people here that say that the PvP experience in Dark Age of Camelot was pretty good.
I heard that as well.
Yeah. But I never really played it as myself either.
It's kind of ruined after Ultima Online went downhill. I was kind of like,
now,
I didn't know what to do.
I do like how they take risk into consideration in EVE Online. And now I've not been a huge EVE player, but basically it works something like this: you buy this ship for a crap load of money, and then you have to have a half crap load of money to insure the ship in case it gets blown up.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't stop it from getting hijacked, but if you lose the ship, that you basically insurance would replace it.
Right.
And I think that there should be, I think that people who are really anal about their stuff should be able to insure it for a lot of money. But it should cost a lot. And
some kind of a, they call that
gold sink?
Reoccurring. Well, reoccurring cost to it should be like a maintenance. I think it should be a maintenance fee. I don't like just paying for something one time and having it invincible. I just, if you're going to do that, then you should have to continue to do that, because if you fall off the wagon or whatever, then you'd be more susceptible to people coming and getting you.
I think that that's a perfect way to handle it, because then it doesn't cause you the loss of everything you own. It just causes you inconvenience.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and so I do think that is good. Now, with player death, was there skill loss?
I don't think. No, I don't. Well,
only if you insta-resed.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, I think it was only if you didn't go to the temples.
So, and I think that that's a fine way to handle death.
Yeah, and I didn't. Yeah, I don't mind experience loss. I didn't like skill loss. You know, so I would be very much against going. I would be very much against insta-resing for that reason. If that's what they wanted to accomplish, was to force you to go see the healer, which for me there was only one, and then there was only one shrine. So there used to be more red healers, I guess, but the economy, when everything was so screwed up, there was only ever one that ever appeared. So we only had one way to get.
Denaro 1987 says that the stat would that Reds would lose stats if their death count was over 4.
Ooh, I guess I didn't die that much. Actually, I don't know. Was that pre-Trammel or after Trammel?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they had anything like that during Trammel or pre-Trammel. I mean,
that I think they're talking about after Trammel, because they're talking about when you had to macro off your penalties.
Oh yeah, goodness.
That was late. Late. There used to be just pretty much just it was the Wild Wild West, baby.
Yeah, it was. It was. And that is something that I would like to encourage Mr. Lord British to do in whatever game that he creates, to still have it Wild Wild West. I know that there are people that can't handle that.
Yeah, there was a lot of great killing and stuff, and that was probably even more wicked than the PKs, because we were bright red, but there was a lot of people that would play that little fine line between criminal and good, and still be able to turn it on you to make you the bad guy and let him kill you for free. Stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. That was some of the best griefing.
I wasn't. Yeah, see, I was like a little angel compared to the Grey guys. They were the man.
Yeah. So basically, what is the most important thing to you in PvP?
Balance. I like a good balance, at least with the skills and the different ways you can fight. Everything being able to be, or whatever. I mean, you only had two, well, not factions, but you know what I'm saying. There was only two. There was a PK and there was a mage, and then there was everybody else, which was kind of like an archer, any kind of melee weapons or long range stuff like that. I like a balance to where you have certain weaknesses against certain things. I think mages were kind of susceptible to archers and stuff like that, and but warriors were susceptible to mages. Back then though, you could be. See, we used to be, when that was the case, we used to be able to be a mage archer, so we could just have both.
Right,
yes,
right.
But I like a balance. I like it a little balanced. I know that's a tough thing to ask. I don't know too many companies that's really pulled it off well. I heard DAOC did a fair job. I assume Eve's doing fairly well. I didn't get that far in Eve's to know, but that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I think that for myself, if I had one idea, one thing that I could, just give as my 2 cents, would be that I certainly want the risk, and I want the risk almost everywhere. There's very few places that I don't want the risk. And in fact, I even want the risk in my house. If I forget to lock the front door and a red runs in, I want the risk.
Yeah, let's not go down the house road.
But also, I think that as someone who is evil, that they should be a weaker person. And what I mean by that is that while maybe people can be a grandmaster. Let's say a grandmaster is when you get 100 skill points, whatever, in one area, and then, are you trying to distract me or something? 100 skill points in one area, but a PK or somebody who's a player killer maybe could only get to 95. It's like a penalty that gives just a little bit of safety.
Gives a little advantage to the good guys.
That's right. And I want that. It causes the player killers to have to pack up, to work in multiples. But the really good ones, the really crafty ones, would still be able to kill you anyway.
they'll find some way to do it.
Mm-hmm,
I think that would be something to explore. I wouldn't be opposed to that. And Andreas Killer, Andreas Killer's asking if I'm Lord British. And no, I'm not Lord British. But I'm a big fan.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yes, both of us go way back in Lord British's game, Ultima Online. I go all the way back to the beta, and I don't know how far back you go.
I played after public release, probably late 1997, 98.
Okay.
Was it 98 when it was public? I think it was.
It was 97. It was September,
late.
September something,
Yeah, I
1997.
played late, like September, October 1997.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
Well, 2004 or something.
yeah.
2000.
Yeah, well, I played until I got banned the third time.
He's talking shit about me being a PK, and he's over here getting banned out of it.
I was always a bad boy. I can't help it.
Yeah, you were a different kind of bad boy. You stayed blue in game, but you were red outside.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. Well, Fear, I really thank you joining us. And I have been watching the comments here, guys, of none of you really gave suggestions that I saw anyway. So basically, take your comments and apply them to the YouTube video when it comes out. So that'll be a little while from now. And then basically, we're going to show this to Lord British and his staff. And I'm talking about a stave. I'm talking about the minions that work for him.
He probably remembers us, me vaguely. I never got to interview him. I just interviewed most of his people. But.
Yes. So anyway, Fear, I would love to have you on a show again sometime in the future. And so I thank you for going to work late tonight.
I gotta go play music and drink beer now.
Oh my, yes. Well,
it's a tough one.
It is a tough one. It is a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everybody, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed because you want to. Now, Fear has a channel as well, which I will put a link in the description, and maybe maybe I can put an annotation up on the YouTube video, so you guys can all check out his channel as well. So, okay, thank you, everybody. And we will have another live broadcast if you're watching this live. And for those of you on YouTube, subscribe so that you see the next one. Take care.
Okay, Marky, thank you, man.